Stop. Before you scroll past. If you receive Social Security, what I am about to tell you in the next 60 seconds could directly affect the check that hits your bank account this month. Not next year, not someday, right now. May 2026 has brought a wave of changes to Social Security that millions of retirees have no idea are happening. And the silence around it is exactly what makes it so dangerous. We are talking about COLA numbers that shocked even the experts, proposed benefit cuts quietly moving through Congress, a funding crisis that the government has been warning about for years now, suddenly feeling very, very real. And a May 2026 update that changes what you can expect in your next payment. Whether you're already retired, about to retire, or helping a parent or grandparent navigate this system, you cannot afford to miss what has just happened. The news cycle is loud and confusing. Politicians are arguing. The numbers being thrown around are frightening. But here on this channel, we cut through all of that noise and give you the plain truth. What changed, what it means for your check, and what you need to do right now to protect the benefits you spent a lifetime earning. We have broken down the official reports, the Congressional Budget Office projections, and the latest Social Security Administration announcements, so you don't have to. If you or someone you love depends on Social Security, hit that like button right now before you forget. It takes 1 second, it costs you nothing, and it tells YouTube to put this information in front of every retiree who needs it. Now stay with me, because what comes next changes everything you thought you knew about your benefits in 2026. Right now, today, May 5th, 2026, if you are receiving Social Security, or if you are counting on it in the years ahead, there are developments happening around this program that you absolutely cannot afford to ignore. We are not talking about minor tweaks or small adjustments in the fine print. We are talking about the kind of changes that could directly affect the check that arrives in your bank account, the taxes you pay on your benefits, and, most critically, the long-term survival of a program that tens of millions of Americans have worked their entire lives to earn. So stay with me, because by the time we are done here today, you are going to know exactly where things stand, what has already changed, what is coming down the road, and what steps you personally can take to protect yourself. Let's start with the news that was supposed to be good. This year, Social Security beneficiaries received a 2.8% cost of living adjustment, the COLA, beginning with January 2026 checks. Now, 2.8% sounds decent. It is actually slightly higher than last year's 2.5% increase, and it is modestly above the 25-year historical average. For the average retiree, that translates to roughly $56 more per month, bringing the average retirement check from $2,015 up to $2,071. Married couples are seeing an average increase of about $88 a month, bringing their combined benefit to around $3,208. But here is where the story gets complicated. And this is the part that most news headlines glossed over entirely. Yes, you got $56 more per month. But at the same time, your Medicare Part B premium went up. The standard Part B premium jumped 9.7% in 2026, rising from $185 a month all the way up to $202.90. For the vast majority of you who have that premium automatically deducted from your Social Security check, that means $17.90 of your hard-won COLA increase was immediately wiped out before you ever saw a penny of it. So instead of a $56 raise, the real increase many Medicare recipients are actually feeling in their pocket is closer to $38 a month. That is the real number. And when you look at what $38 buys you these days, at the grocery store, at the pharmacy, or filling up your gas tank, it is not hard to see why 77% of older Americans surveyed by AARP said even a 3% COLA for 2026 would not be enough to keep pace with their rising costs. There is also a deeper problem with how the COLA is calculated in the first place. The adjustment is based on something called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, the CPIW. The trouble is, that index tracks the spending habits of working-age people, not retirees. And what do seniors spend the most money on? Healthcare, prescription drugs, housing. Those categories tend to rise much faster than the general inflation rate measured by the CPIW. So every year, the COLA formula is slightly tilted against the very people it is supposed to protect. Many advocates have pushed for years to use a different index, one specifically designed around senior spending patterns. But so far, Congress has not made that change. Now let's talk about the tax side of things, because this is where a lot of confusion and, frankly, a lot of misleading information has been swirling around. Last year, Congress passed what was called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And the Social Security Administration itself sent out emails to tens of millions of beneficiaries announcing, and I want you to pay very close attention to the exact wording here, that the new law eliminates federal income taxes on Social Security benefits for nearly 90% of recipients. Here is the truth. That is not accurate. The law did not eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. What it actually did was create a new, temporary, additional tax deduction of $6,000 per person, $12,000 for a married couple where both spouses are 65 or older. This deduction is available from 2025 through 2028, and then it expires. It can reduce, or in some cases, eliminate the portion of your benefits that are federally taxable, depending on your income. But Social Security benefits are still taxable income under the law. You still must report them. And for a significant portion of seniors, particularly those with income from pensions, IRAs, or 401k withdrawals in addition to their Social Security, the deduction may provide only partial relief, not a complete elimination of the tax. Who actually benefits from this deduction? If you are a single filer with a modified adjusted gross income under $75,000, or a married couple filing jointly with income under $150,000, you may see meaningful tax savings. The deduction phases out gradually above those thresholds and disappears entirely for single filers above $175,000 and couples above $250,000. The Tax Policy Center estimates that the provision benefits fewer than half of all older adults, not 90% as was claimed. And critically, this deduction sunsets in 2028. If Congress does not extend it, things go back to exactly the way they were. So is it good news? For those who qualify and who previously owed federal taxes on a portion of their benefits, yes, it is real, tangible relief. One independent analysis found the average tax savings for seniors who benefit from the deduction is around $670 per year. But it is not the sweeping, permanent tax elimination it was made out to be, and every senior deserves to know the accurate version of what was actually passed into law. Now I need to talk to you about something that is far more serious than a COLA increase or a temporary tax deduction. I need to talk to you about the financial foundation of Social Security itself. Because that foundation is cracking. And every American who draws a benefit or plans to draw one needs to understand exactly how much time is left on the clock. The Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, released an updated 10-year budget outlook in February 2026, and the news was not good. The CBO now projects that Social Security's Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund, the OASI Trust Fund, which is the main fund that pays retirement and survivor benefits, will be completely depleted by the year 2032. That is just 6 years from right now. What is especially alarming is that this projection is 1 full year earlier than the CBO estimated just last year, and 2 full years earlier than the estimate from 2024. The deadline is moving closer, and it is moving faster than anyone predicted. Why is it getting worse so quickly? There are several reasons working together. First, the country's population is aging. The enormous baby boom generation is fully into retirement now, drawing benefits at record rates, while fewer younger workers are paying in to support them. Birth rates in the United States have been at historic lows, meaning there are simply fewer workers entering the system. Legal immigration, which has historically been a vital source of new workers and payroll tax revenue, has slowed significantly in recent years. And inflation has led to higher COLA adjustments, which draw down the trust fund reserves faster than anticipated. On top of all that, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the same law that created the senior tax deduction, is now projected to actually accelerate the trust fund's depletion. Here is why. The new senior deductions reduce the amount of income tax paid on Social Security benefits. But some of that revenue from taxing benefits flows directly back into the Social Security Trust Fund. By reducing that revenue source, the new law is estimated to push the insolvency date forward by roughly a year. So a law sold to seniors as protecting Social Security is, by the calculations of independent experts, actually making its financial crisis arrive sooner. Now here is the number that should be written on a sticky note on every senior's refrigerator. 28%. If the trust fund is depleted in 2032 and Congress takes no action, Social Security would be forced to cut benefits, across the board, for every current and future recipient, by approximately 28% starting in 2033. Let me make that real. If you are currently receiving $2,071 per month, a 28% cut would bring your check down to roughly $1,491. For a retired couple getting $3,208 combined, that would drop to about $2,310, a loss of nearly $900 every single month, or more than $10,000 per year. Gone. Not because of anything you did wrong, not because you made bad decisions, but because Congress failed to act. So what is Washington actually doing about this? The honest answer is debating, proposing, and disagreeing, which has been the pattern for decades. But let us walk through the main ideas that are currently on the table, because each one would affect you differently. One camp of lawmakers believes the solution is to bring more revenue into the Social Security system. A proposal called the Fair Share Act, backed by several Democratic senators and representatives, would require individuals earning more than $400,000 a year to pay Social Security payroll taxes on all their income above that level. Right now, only the first $184,500 of earned income is subject to the Social Security tax in 2026. Anything above that is completely exempt. Supporters of this approach argue it would fully fund Social Security for the next 75 years. Critics argue it amounts to a massive tax increase on high earners. A bipartisan proposal from senators on both sides of the aisle would create a new investment fund backed by Treasury resources, allowing Social Security to invest in stocks and other assets to generate additional returns. This approach has drawn both interest and skepticism from financial experts. Another proposal being discussed, and this one should get every working retiree's attention, is called the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act. This bill would eliminate the earnings test that currently reduces benefits for people who claim Social Security before their full retirement age but continue to work. Right now, if you are under full retirement age and earning more than $24,480 in 2026, Social Security deducts $1 from your benefit for every $2 you earn above that limit. Eliminating that rule could help many seniors who want or need to keep working. There have also been discussions, mostly quiet, mostly behind closed doors, about raising the full retirement age beyond 67, which is where it currently stands for those born in 1960 or later. Some have floated raising it to 68 or even 69. This would effectively reduce lifetime benefits for everyone who retires at what they currently think of as full retirement age. And the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget has proposed capping COLA increases for higher-income Social Security recipients, meaning if your monthly benefit is above a certain level, your annual inflation adjustment could be smaller than what lower-income recipients receive. None of these proposals have been voted into law, but the window for Congress to act is closing. Every expert, every economist, and every nonpartisan think tank that has studied this issue agrees. The longer Congress waits, the more painful the eventual fix will have to be. Small changes made today would prevent catastrophic cuts later. But Congress has been kicking this can down the road for years, and that road is running out. There is another dimension to this story that does not get nearly enough attention, and it is affecting seniors right now, not in 2032, but today in 2026. The Social Security Administration itself is in the middle of a severe staffing and operational crisis. Staffing at the SSA was already at a 50-year low before the current administration took office, even as the number of beneficiaries reached an all-time high. Since then, thousands of experienced employees have left the agency, through buyouts, forced resignations, and early retirements. The people who knew how to process disability claims, who understood the complex rules around survivor benefits, who answered your questions at local field offices, many of them are gone. The result has been growing backlogs, longer wait times, and increasing difficulty for ordinary seniors just trying to get answers about their own benefits. Plans have been discussed to reduce field offices significantly and shift to a centralized processing model. But critics argue this would make things worse for seniors who depend on in-person service, particularly those in rural communities or those who are not comfortable navigating websites and phone trees. If you need to visit a Social Security office, call the main line or resolve a problem with your benefits. Do not put it off. Do it now while you still can get through. Set up your personal My Social Security account at ssa.gov if you have not already. You can check your benefit estimates, review your earnings record, and get important notices online. And if you see any discrepancies in your earnings history, years where wages may not have been properly recorded, address them as soon as possible, because errors in your earnings record can permanently reduce your future benefit. Let me bring this home with the most important part of this conversation. What you, sitting right there, can actually do about all of this. First, understand your real numbers. Log in to ssa.gov and review your benefit statement. Know exactly what you are receiving and what you are projected to receive. If you have not yet claimed, compare what you would get at 62, at your full retirement age, and at 70. Every year you delay past full retirement age, your benefit grows by 8%. And that higher base benefit would be what any future across-the-board percentage cut would apply to. Claiming early could compound your losses if cuts come. Second, do not rely on Social Security as your only income source. I know that is easier said than done. For millions of retirees, Social Security is the backbone of their financial lives, and there is no shame in that. You earned those benefits through decades of work. But if there is any way to supplement your income through savings, a part-time job, reducing expenses, or downsizing, doing so gives you a cushion against the uncertainty ahead. Third, take advantage of the tax deduction while it lasts. If you are 65 or older, single with income under $75,000, or married with combined income under $150,000, make sure your tax preparer knows about the new $6,000 senior deduction under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It does not last forever. It expires after 2028, so use it while it is available. Fourth, contact your representatives. I know. It can feel like writing a letter or making a phone call to Congress is pointless. But Social Security is the most politically sensitive program in the entire federal government. Elected officials are terrified of cutting it, precisely because you vote at rates far higher than younger Americans. When seniors speak up in large numbers, politicians listen. Demand that your congressmen and senators commit to a real, long-term fix for the trust fund. Not another temporary patch, not another delay, but a durable solution that ensures full benefits are paid through your lifetime and beyond. Fifth, stay informed. The landscape around Social Security is shifting faster right now than at any point since the 1983 reforms. Follow credible news sources. Check the SSA's own website at ssa.gov for official updates. And do not rely on social media rumors or politically motivated claims about what the program will or will not do. The facts matter, and you deserve the full picture. And finally, talk to the people around you. Your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, the friend who is about to turn 62 and has no idea any of this is happening. 67 million Americans are currently receiving Social Security. Tens of millions more are counting on it. This is not a niche retirement policy issue. It is one of the most important financial stories of our lifetime, and it belongs in every kitchen table conversation in America. You worked for these benefits. You paid into this system for decades. In some cases, your entire working life. You were promised that money would be there when you needed it. And the bottom line of everything we have talked about today is this. Whether that promise is kept depends on what happens in the next 6 years. The decisions being made in Washington right now, the ones being debated, delayed, and dodged, will determine whether your check stays whole or gets slashed. You deserve to know that. You deserve to be heard. And you deserve a Social Security system that is as strong and reliable as the generation that built it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you found this information helpful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And check back regularly, because as things continue to develop, I will be here bringing you the clearest, most up-to-date picture I can of what is happening with your Social Security.